Today we're gonna make a banana chocolate chip cookie, but we're gonna do it in a new type of way, and I'm gonna show you starting now. Hey, I'm Chef Kyle from Kyle's Creations, here to make simple and healthy recipes for everyday living. If you're new now and you love creative recipes, especially desserts, click and subscribe right now. So speaking of bananas, I'm gonna use 1.5 bananas. All right, I'm just gonna cut it. I'm using 2 types of sugar for this recipe. Dark brown sugar, which helps with the browning, and we have some cane sugar. And the reason I'm bringing this up right now is we're gonna add some of that cane sugar to a pot that we're gonna melt some butter to incorporate the bananas with. So the butter is gonna help digest the carbohydrates in the bananas and also make this cookie more digestible. So I'm gonna take half of that sugar, which is about a tablespoon and a teaspoon, right in there. Tablespoon of butter is going right in here. And we're just gonna melt the sugar and the butter and then add the banana to that. I'm gonna add in the banana. I'm gonna add in the banana and a half actually. Lower the heat. So the induction burner using electric heats up very fast. So I always want to be mindful of lowering the heat so that it doesn't burn. So the sugar has melted, it's coated with the banana. We don't need to cook the banana, just coat it. And shut that off. All right, let that cool down for a few minutes. Take a masher and just mash it. You can also use a fork. I'm not pureeing this. We're just mashing it. This is exactly how you want it. Right? I'm gonna let this cool off completely. You can always stick it in the fridge as well. Okay, before we get to making this cookie dough batter, I do have chocolate here. And we're using chocolate chunks, not chocolate chips. You can use chips if you like, but the chocolate chunks don't melt as easily and they don't spread. So you get more of that chocolate flavor and you get more texture as well. So right here I have 2 different kinds of chocolate. You can use one. I'm using 2 different types of dark chocolate. There is the lighter color is the 60% bittersweet chocolate, and this is the 70% bittersweet chocolate. They're both dark chocolate. Anything over 50% is considered dark chocolate. And we're just gonna chop this up now. I'm gonna save, we don't need as much. That will do it, and I'll save this for another dessert. But I have some backup here for another recipe that I was testing out, and we're gonna use this as a topping to bake on top of the cookie dough. Unsalted room temperature butter is going in, and that dark brown sugar that we had before. Now add the rest of the cane sugar, add the paddle attachment, and we're gonna cream this on speed 2. And you can always do this by hand as well. It's very easy, it doesn't take long, and in between you could scrape it down. The goal of this banana chocolate chip cookie is for a crunchy cookie on the outside and a chewy cookie in the center. Okay, perfect. Scrape everything down. If your egg is not room temperature, just take some sort of hot water and we're just going to drop the egg in, leave that for 1 minute, and it'll be room temperature. 1 large egg with the vanilla extract. So this is a teaspoon plus 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and I'm going to add that to the batter, and I'm going to start with half of the banana in there. And let that mix first. Scrape in between and add the rest. Just do that on a stir. Okay. We're gonna add a different ingredient that most people don't use for cookie recipes, but I'm going to use it because this is gonna be an addition to the chewy cookie texture we're gonna have, and that's thanks to honey. So we're gonna add a teaspoon of honey. So the honey is gonna help the moisture stay in this cookie, but it's also going to help with the browning process. So on the outside of the cookie, it's going to be crunchy. That's the first step, right? And we're just going to stir that in. Now we have the dry ingredients here. There's no need to sift the dry ingredients. These aren't delicate cookies. These aren't macarons. We're going to add, we have all-purpose flour here. We're going to add 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. We're going to add baking soda, not baking powder. The baking soda is going to help with the browning process. If we add baking powder on top of that, they're going to counteract each other. So the leavening agent we're just going to add is baking soda right in there. If you ever watched my last cookie, chocolate chip cookie recipe, I used some cinnamon. We're going to use less cinnamon in this recipe, but it's going to be a wonderful warming spice to go with the chocolate flavor. And if you guys want to know any more information about the ingredients or seasonings that I use, please click the description box below for the WebMD links. And finally, we're going to add some ground coconut flakes. Give that a stir. Make sure it's all incorporated together evenly, especially the baking soda. Now we're going to add the dry ingredients a little bit at a time, so about 1/3. Alternate between adding flour and mixing until the flour disappears. At this point here, I'm going to start adding the chocolate chips in. Okay, everything is together. That is perfect. The batter is still smooth and soft and not overmixed. Okay, I'm just going to scrape down and incorporate all the chocolate chips so it's mixed in there evenly. So I'm going to let this batter rest. You can let it rest for 4 hours, but if you don't have that time, just let it rest for like 30 minutes. I'm going to let this rest in the fridge. Okay, take a piece of parchment paper. I'm baking these banana chocolate chip cookie doughs right away, but you can always let this rest for longer, which will allow the flour to reincorporate into the batter, giving you a better texture. Okay, so we're going to scoop it now with my 1.5 inch scooper. I'm going to leave some space in between, about 2 inches of space. And now take some chocolate chips, put 3 on each on top. You don't have to push it in, it's going to melt right in. If you want a show-stopping reveal, definitely save some extra chopped up chocolate to place right on top. Right? Now this is going in the oven at 350 degrees in the middle rack for 12 minutes. 2 extra minutes, so 14 minutes in total. You can see there's some nice browning on the outside. You can see the chocolate on the inside. It's crunchy on the outside, but chewy in the middle. Okay, so we're gonna let this rest for 2 or 3 minutes. And then we're going to transfer the cookies to a baking rack. Should slide right off. I don't want the cookie to continue cooking. Back on here, and we'll do a final reveal. Look at that. See the caramelization that happened here? You can see bits of banana in there too. And it's crunchy on the outside. It's crunchy on the outside, chewy on the middle. And let's give this a shot. Look at that. And this recipe, actually, the combination of just using baking soda, honey, and the fact that we creamed the butter and the sugar together will help give this cookie texture, meaning it has a nice texture on the inside, it's fluffy, it's chewy, and crunchy on the outside due to the baking soda and the honey that allows the moisture to stay inside and the caramelization to happen on the outside, so you have a chewy and a crunchy cookie at the same time. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'm reminded of 2 other dessert recipes. I have another chocolate chip cookie recipe, but this one is a crunchy cookie, so you can try that one. And I also have an apricot jam cookie that's a little bit different, and you're gonna love that recipe as well for something unique and different. And as always, stay tuned for the next episode. Take care.